welcome to the Random Malarkey podcast. It's me, your loyal podcaster. I want to do a podcast because I saw something absolutely egregious. I went through a complete hour of torture, and it's thanks to the Turner networks. The Turner Network TV, or whatever it's called, TNT, that overly entitled rich bastard. It's awful television. I watched this show called Rizzoli and Isles, and what it is, it's deceptive. It's a deceptive show. I watched this show an entire hour, including goddamn boring commercial breaks. I watched, only to be met with complete and utter disappointment. Let me explain this to you. This show, in case you haven't seen it, listener, and I say listener with no plural because I know there's only one of you, I watched this show, and it is about two female detectives. They investigate crimes. Now, when I see a show with two female detectives that investigate crimes, I assume there's a subplot every episode where they les out. I had just kind of assumed that. I didn't realize what they do is they completely mislead you the entire show, and at the end of the show, no kidding, one of the women talks about getting her eggs freezed because she's becoming so old and no one wants to fuck her. Maybe that's because you live in a house with another woman. What is every guy in the entire state that you live in gonna think other than, well, they're lesbians? That's what I thought. I watched an hour of this, and there was no lesing of the out. I wanted lesing out. I wanted to see at least them kiss. I mean, I know it's cable. You're not gonna see a nipple. But I thought I'd see something. I thought I'd see maybe, a kinda, maybe they'd grab each other. I'd jerk to that. But nothing. At the end, the other lady reaffirms that she likes men. And they talk about men for a second. They're lying to each other. They're both too nervous to just, one of them grab the other one's legs and just go, what? It's the dumbest premise for a show. It's like you had a show, and it was two dudes, and they just wore angel wings and tight boy shorts, and then there were just like fucking girls left and right. You'd be like, what is this? I don't believe that they like those women. This makes no sense. Why are they? And then they show moments at the end of the show, they're conversating, they're just talking about how they like chicks with tits. It's like, no, you have angel wings on. You don't like chicks at all. You wish you were a chick. What are you doing? You're wearing women's clothing, almost borderline. I mean, what the fuck? So I watched this entire show. And by the way, the premise of the show was the one that seems lesbianish. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be offensive or false to proclaim her a lesbian, but to me, if I was guessing and didn't know any better, which I don't, I would say she's lesbianish. She gets kidnapped by, the premise of the episode, which all I was doing, I was half paying attention. I was just sitting there disappointed with my cock in my hand the whole time, waiting for something. She gets kidnapped by some guy. She's a detective, so how this even happens, I don't know. But she gets kidnapped, and then gets tied to a bed, and this evil white man, it's always an evil white man, this evil white man is plotting to serve her breakfast, and then I guess he was going to kill her. I'm not making any of this up. And he had a webcam on her, and the police, this episode kind of ended like a Matthew McConaughey movie where everyone was watching what was happening even if they weren't there. That happens a lot in Matthew McConaughey films. And then the police broke in, they saved her. I'm sure she was horrified that she was going to get close to a man for the first time in her life, allegedly. And that's it. I thought maybe like a female cop was going to save her, and then she was going to thank her by lezzing out. But there wasn't. It was another dude. It was another guy added to the scene. Just another man ruining this scene. It was all it was. And then at the end, they talk about getting their eggs frozen because they're becoming old, and they don't want to accept the fact they're not going to have kids, even though they're lesbians, and they refuse to admit it. And I say, shame on the TNT network, and I'll tell you why. They obviously have a show that is two closeted lesbians. Now, if this was a show about the difficulty of coming out as a homosexual in this society, I'd respect that. But I think this show has been running for like 5 years or something like that. I don't know. I didn't keep track. I've watched it tonight because I just found out about it. What was my thought? Okay, yeah. So they have this show with two female lead detective characters. Why don't they make them lesbians? I don't think we've ever had that before on television with two lesbian lead characters and they're in a relationship together. And there's like 5 million lesbians in this country. That's like guaranteed ratings if you make a show based on that. They don't have the balls to do this. Or maybe balls isn't the right, like, they don't have the tits to do this. They should tit up, and they should make this show, and they should just have the next season where these two broads come out. I don't know, are we allowed to say broads anymore? These two females come out, and they say, yeah, we're lesbians, and then they start lezzing out. I want to see lezzing out. I mean, what a disappointing show. I watched that show, I'm not kidding, the whole hour. The whole hour. Why did I do that? I didn't get anything for it. It was just a waste of time. It was really dumb. I really, really wanted to see that. And there was nothing interesting. It was like a plot, and the dialogue was dog shit, and there was nothing of value or substance. It was the same typical nonsense you see on TV all the time. That's unrealistic. But goddamn, if they were lesbians, it'd be something new. So what I'm telling TNT is to make it a lesbian show and represent the lesbian cops. Thank you. Les out.